You do to prevent and correct workplace harassment? 4 female band tellers complained to management that their female service manager and another female band teller had sexually harassed them. Their manager making basic comments about their bodies and sex lives and has suggested they wore sexually provocative clothing in order to attract or retain customers and to advance in the workplace. One of the tellers complained, "I hate my job, the clothing they wear, the never-ending comments used to image, you cannot escape it, going to work is demeaning and humiliating." Despite complaints made to management, the reports are not investigating and no action is taken. As a result, at least one of the tellers decided to quit her job. Ultimately, the 4 employees determined that their best option is to file a sexual harassment complaint with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Other countries around the world have different public institutions that will administer and enforce labor law against workplace discrimination and harassment. For example, Ecuador, located in South America with a population near to 70 million, a tourist destination, and the original country Panama it has different ministries focused on strategic points. One of them is the Ministry of Labor, which is going to guarantee a worthy employment with stability and harmony in labor relations. Another example is Indonesia, located in Southeast Asia, is the 4th largest country in the world and a tourist destination well known for Bali. It has a Ministry of Labor that will regulate labor relations and also the International Labor Organization supporting decent work for all. Then, what is harassment? It's a form of discrimination defined as a severe conduct enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person will consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. For example, sexual harassment. Other types include same-race harassment, same-sex harassment, sexual orientation harassment, disability, religion, social media harassment, and retaliatory harassment.
A fundamental step in preventing and remediating harassment is the presence of a comprehensive anti-harassment program. The first one is a clear anti-harassment policy. Employers must effectively communicate the contents of the policy to employees. Also, they should provide every employee with a copy of the policy and include third parties such as independent contractors, using posting policies on bulletin boards or in central location and incorporating them into employees' handbooks, including it in new employee orientation materials, reinforcing it through harassment sensitivity and prevention training, publishing it on the employer's intranet or memos. Make sure that everybody understands the policy. Use language appropriate to the workforce reading level. Provide accurate translation. Number 2. An explicit statement of prohibited behaviors that can be considered harassment. Provide explanation and examples for each type of harassment. Should communicate a zero-tolerance stance on harassment. A complaint procedure that encourages employees to come forward with harassment complaints. Explain how to report harassment, what will be done with the reported information, and finally, the policy should not contain a false claim provision where disciplinary action is threatened against persons filing false claims of harassment. Protections for complainants and witnesses against retaliation. Create a separate anti-retaliation policy and remind parties to complain that subsequent decisions affecting those involved in the complaint will be scrutinized to avoid retaliation. Informing the alleged harasser of the concern raised and allowing an opportunity to respond before any disciplinary action is taken. Fair and equal treatment. An investigation strategy that protects privacy interests for victim and offender. From investigation beginning within a few days with quick completion. Confidentiality assured to the extent possible. Whoever conducts the investigation should be completely objective and well trained in the skills that are required for interviewing witnesses and evaluating credibility. Ask standard questions. A thorough investigation should include an interview of the complainant, the alleged harasser, and corroborating witnesses. Preservation of all investigative information is critical, and it is recommended that records of all such complaints be kept in a central, secure location. The initial intake manager should meet with the complainant in a private area, gather facts, remain impartial, not form any opinion or express sympathy, explain that the company's harassment policy will be followed, and review the policy and procedure with the complainant. Detailed record of this meeting should be kept and reviewed with the complainant to ensure accuracy. Intermediate measures such as making schedule changes, transferring the alleged harasser, or placing the alleged harasser on non-disciplinary leave with PEPs have a periodic training. Use interactive, engaging techniques. Conduct periodic retraining. Take in consideration the following questions. Who should be trained? Who should conduct the training? And what information should be conveyed? Employees should also be trained in how to report and investigate possible violation of anti-harassment policy. Specifically, training should include an explanation of when employees have duty to report, description of appropriate responses to any complaints, and how employee can register as a complaint. Clarify that a complaint can be made either verbally or in writing. Provide special training for supervisors who must implement and enforce the policy. Trainers must be expert in harassment and discrimination law, so as to ensure that the training provided will be legally accurate. Measures and processes to ensure prompt corrective action. Remedial measures must be designed to stop the harassment, correct its effect on the employee, and ensure the harassment doesn't recur. They should not adversely affect the complainant. For example, the harasser should be transferred, not the complainant. Otherwise, this will consider retaliation. Disciplinary measures should be proportional to the seriousness of the offense. For example, minor harassments might warrant a verbal or writing warning. If the harassment was severe or persistent, suspension or discharge might be appropriate. Finally, documentation concerning discipline and remedial action should be stored in a central location. Further preventative measures such as training and monitoring should be undertaken by the employer. Workplace harassment is a persistent organizational problem that has serious consequences for individuals and organizations. From emotional problems to physical health issues, harassment takes a toll on victims while organizations suffer the effects of low job satisfaction, low organizational commitment, attendance issues, and turnover.